For years, every conversation about Toronto real estate has been about prices going down, buyers waiting, sellers blinking, inventory piling up. May 2026 is the first month in a long time where the data quietly says something different. The market didn't crash, it didn't boom, it turned a corner, and most didn't even notice it. Let me show you what I'm seeing in the numbers. Guys, before we go further, I want you to hit that subscribe, hit that notification bar, and like this episode. Thank you for watching. Now let's go. So most people will read one number this month, and that the average selling price is sitting at just over $1,069,000, and that's down 4.6% from a year ago. And on that surface, that's just another down month in a long down stretch. But here's the part that matters more. Back in January, the average price bottomed at $973,000. 5 months later, we're at about $1,070,000. That's roughly 10% up off the January low. 4 straight months of the price line climbing, not falling. And that's something important that I want everyone to note. So the year-over-year number is still negative, but only because we're comparing against a stronger spring last year. The direction has flipped. The bleeding stopped sometimes over the winter month, and we've been recovering since. A year-over-year decline and a recovering market can be true at the same time. One looks backward and the other tells you where we're headed. And this is exactly what we're experiencing right now in May of 2026. The real story is supply. This is a segment I would lean into. The recovery isn't being driven by a flood of eager buyers. It's being driven by sellers stepping back, taking listings off the market. So let's get into the numbers. New listings in May was just close to 17,700, down nearly 19% year over year. So we got less listings. Active listings, close to 27,000 units, down 13.3% from last May, which was sitting over 31,000. Sales actually rose to over 6,500. That's up 6.3% year over year. So to put those three together, more buyers, fewer new listings, shrinking standing inventory. That's textbook recipe for a market that's tightening. You can watch it happen in months of inventory numbers, probably the single best indicator in this market. So let's take a look. Months of inventory in January was just over 5.8 months of inventory. That's buyer market territory. We talked about it a few months ago. In February, we dipped over 5 months of inventory to 4.99. March, it went down to 4.29. April went down to 4.22, and right now we're sitting very close to 4 months of inventory. So the months of inventory in January 2026 started about 5.83 months of inventory. That's deep into the buyer market territory in Toronto. February, that dropped down to below 5 months, and that's 4.99 months of inventory. March, that dropped down to 4.29, April to 4.22, and right now we're sitting at just over 4 months of inventory. 5 months of steady tightening. We've gone from buyer, hold all the cars, towards a genuinely balanced market. We're not in a seller's market. Historically, the GTA sits closer to 2 to 3 months for the balanced condition. But the trend line right now, pointing to one direction. Buyers still have the negotiation power right now, but the window is narrowing every month, and the people who waited for the absolute bottom may find that it's already behind them. And that was January of 2026. So since January, both sales and inventory have been climbing, which is normal. Spring always brings buyers back. What's different this year is the math underneath it, which pretty much says buyers are coming back at twice the speed of listings getting added to the market. So the market is tightening. We talked about that last month as well. So here's where it gets more interesting. For those of you who are more into the market, you gotta know that the market isn't moving as one block. Condos are clearly falling behind. GTA condo average is sitting at around 640,000. That's down 5.7% year over year, falling faster than the overall market. And the gap widens dramatically by area. So let's talk about it. Oakville detached is up 7.7% year over year, whereas York region is down 8.1%. Brampton condos are down 11.9%. Durham condos are down 14.2%. So the pattern, ground level housing in premium low inventory pockets is holding or rising. Entry level condos in investor heavy submarkets are still soft. So this is the opposite of what pandemic era brought, when condos led the way on falling prices. And if you want a single most striking contrast in the whole month, let's look at two regions side by side. Region 1, York region. Sales are up 18.4%. That's the biggest jump we've seen in GTA. But prices are down 8.1%. We're talking about Richmond Hill, Aurora, Newmarket. Sales have actually gone up. And the reason for that is, and what we actually see on ground level, the detached prices have fallen so much that has made it attractive for people to start coming back to the market and grabbing those deals. However, Oakville sales are down 1.3%, but prices are up 7.7%. So sales have fallen, but the prices have gone up. And the reason for that is because the detached segment in Oakville saw one of the biggest drops in the last 6 months. And as prices became relatively affordable or attractive to buyers, they came back to the market, driving up the prices. And some of those higher end homes had the most drops. So when people are buying a home that was going for $3.5 million, all of a sudden for 2.7, the average price moves up. Also, to add to this, there was one area in GTA, which is Durham area, where the sales and prices fell together. And Durham right now, in my opinion, is one of the most attractive places right now, price-wise, for people to get into the market, because you can find detached homes well below $1 million for something reasonably updated, move-in ready. Guys, before we go further, I want you to hit that subscribe, hit that notification bar, and like this episode. Thank you for watching. Now let's go. So, what do we learn here? The average price for the whole GTA hides as much as it reveals. A detached home in Oakville and a one-bedroom condo in Brampton area living in two completely different markets right now. So here's an important point so that we're not really overselling the recovery. Homes are taking longer to sell than a year ago. Average days on the market year to date is 32 days. That's up 18.5% from last year. Durham stands out because it's gone up to 30% longer than last year. But here's the more hopeful read hiding in the monthly data. Days on the market actually peaked in the winter, and they've been falling fast ever since. So let's look at it. In December, the average days on the market was sitting at 41 days, which was crazy. February, that fell down to 36, March to 31, April to 29 days, and in May, we're well over a month, sitting at 27 days. So homes are selling 18 days faster than they were in January, nearly cut in half. Yes, it's still slower than last spring, but the trend is that things are tightening and homes are selling faster. So it's a recovery with friction, but decreasing friction. Buyers are back and they're moving quicker every month. Properties that are priced right and shown well are moving. Everything else sits, so you gotta be priced right. This is a quality of listing market, not a throw it up and let's see if the market is gonna do the job and get it sold. You gotta be strategic about your listing. So I've spent the whole episode right now making the case that the market has turned. Let me give you two numbers that keep us in line and transparent, because the turn is real, but it's a turn off a very low base. So first, 2026 has the fewest buyers in the 6 years. Year-to-date sales, January all the way to May. 2021, we had close to 61,800 sales. 2022, we were close to 43,000 sales. Again, we're talking about January to May. 2023, we had just over 33,000. 2024, we had over 31,000. 2025, which was one of the slowest year in 25 years, the first 5 months of the year, we had just over 24,600 sales. And right now, in 2026, we're sitting below that number, which was one of the lowest sales figures we've seen in 25 years. We're sitting right now just over 24,400 sales. So that's right. Even with sales climbing every month this spring, 2026 is the slowest start for the whole window we've seen since 2021, and probably it's going to be in the last 25 to 30 years. Number 2, buyers are paying below asking. And that hasn't happened in years, but we've been seeing it in the last few years. So in 2021, the average sell to list ratio was 106%. 2023 was 105%. 2024 was 101. 2025, it went down to 99%. And 2026, so far, we've been down to 98%. So for years, the typical GTA home sold for more than what it was listed. Today, it sells for less. And that's a signal that shows buyers have more leverage. And if you're not priced right, you're going to be sitting on the market for a while. So the market is turning, but let's be honest about where it's turning from. We got the fewest buyers in the 6 years that we've seen. And for the first time in a long time, sellers are taking less than they've ever taken in the last, again, 6 years. The recovery is real. It's just early. So here's where we've landed for the May of 2026. If only you watch the year-over-year price numbers, you would think nothing has changed. But let's look underneath it. Sales are up and have risen for the last 5 months. Buyers are returning twice as fast as the new listings are appearing on the market. And inventory has tightened for the last 5 months. And homes are selling faster, 18 days faster since January. And prices are up 10% from the January low. And I feel like the GTA market for the last 4 years was falling. And this May, I'm seeing the pattern that the prices are starting to climb up. I'm not gonna say that it's gonna go up the way it went up back in 2021 and early 2022, but we're seeing signs of recovery. And time will only tell where the market is going. Guys, thank you for watching. And again, please hit that subscribe, hit that share button to anyone that you think might find this useful, and click that like. And hopefully we'll see you on the next episode. And let us know what you guys thought about this episode. And if there's anything you'd like me to talk about, drop it in the comments below. Thank you.